Welcome to StyFam Outdoors. Like you saw from the title of this video, it's just going to be tips on how to shed hunt. Starting out with shed hunting, you got to know your area. If you have a private piece of property, this will be very easy for you shed hunting because you know the area, you know how they're traveling and stuff like that. If you're on public land, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you. Tip number one, can't go out with the attitude of thinking you're going to get a shed. If you go out with that kind of attitude, you're going to be rushing to find that very first shed. If you go out with the attitude of knowing you may not get a shed this time, you'll be more cautious to your area, taking your time looking for those sheds instead of rushing to find your first one. Tip number two, look for those heavy trails where they're traveling through the woods, where they're traveling every day on that path, or it's a main path for them. Tip number three, you want to look for those bedding areas, where they're laying down every night, because where there's a bedding area, there's a food source. Around this time where, the bucks are losing their antlers, they're not traveling as much because of the cold. So they're staying in that bedding area, they're staying near that bedding area, or they're staying near that food source throughout the whole entire day and just traveling that area. So you want to stay focused mainly around the bedding area and the food area, and that's where you'll probably find one. Tip number four, don't be afraid, check in an area where, looks completely obvious that there might not even be a shed there, because these sheds, as you can see, they're a whitish yellow. So there could be some dead hay that this could be shoved into, or a dead patch of grass, or a rotted log that could be the same color and you just think it's a twig or a patch of grass. So don't be afraid to even just check the area, even if it's just a stupid plain area. It doesn't hurt to check, because you might check it one time and actually find a shed. Tip number five, if you find a decent sized shed, most likely the other one is close. With the bucks that have bigger racks, such as this one, I know it's not big, but it's decent. When they lose one antler, they feel off balance, so they want to lose that extra weight on the side of their head, so they'll force that other antler off. So it's not going to be super close, but it'll be in that general area, somewhere like in a bush or in a thick patch of grass, or it might even just be laying next to a tree. Tip number six, try to get out as much as possible, especially those that are shed hunting on public land. If you're not out there, someone else is. So you want to get out there as much as possible to find that shed before someone else does. Now if you have private property, you can wait till March, because no one else should be on that property, at least. So you can set some game cameras up, keep track of those deer, see which ones are dropping their antlers, see when they dropped them, unlike for what people on public lands have. Tip number seven, also look in fields. They're not just going to be dropping their antlers in the woods. They can just fall off randomly, even just them crossing in the field. So look for those heavy paths that are in fields. That's really all I have for tips, guys, on how to shed hunt and locate them, but I do have a few tricks that help you out when going out. The first trick that I always do is I go out and I just lay a shed randomly somewhere, or I have my girlfriend or my dad just go lay it somewhere random where I have no idea where it would be, and I go walking for it to give me that practice of looking for that shed. It teaches me what colors to look out for, what shades, different angles on how it may be laying to suppose what it would look like, and it's just helped me out a lot. So give it a try, it might actually help you out in the long run. Another trick, sometimes finding their paths on, you know, where they're bedding down, their food source, and where they're traveling can be hard. So a good thing to do is, if you got some fresh snow like you see now in the background, is to go out, because they're going to leave tracks, especially if the snow's been on the ground for a long time. If you see in the forecast it's going to snow and the next day it's going to be too warm, it's going to be way too hard to, you know, see their path. They may have just traveled that way for one night due to the storm. So if you have snow on the ground for, you know, a few days, go out each day. Not necessarily just to shed hunt, but just to see where they're walking, where they're bedding down. You'll find those areas a lot easier. Alright guys, that's all I got for you in today's video. I hope that the tips I provided you help and improve your shed hunting season, or at least encourage you to get out there and shed hunt for the first time. If you liked the video and think it was helpful, hit that like button and also subscribe. And don't forget guys, get outdoors.